Tonight, a number of northern rural ERs have been affected by closures in recent weeks. Plus, local reaction to Prime Minister Mark Carney's announcement on Tuesday about softwood lumber. And the city is looking to attract funding to provide access to safe and clean washrooms. Good evening and welcome to CKPG News. I'm Adam Burrows. Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with serious concerns for some residents of Mackenzie who find themselves having to travel to Prince George due to frequent emergency room closures. More than a dozen days since July 1st saw ER closures, and for one woman it meant 2 separate ambulance trips to receive care for a heart condition. Tommy Osborne has more.
Is somebody going to die before it's acknowledged?
Serious concerns for many in the district of Mackenzie, as its hospital's emergency room has seen service disruptions for more than a dozen days since July 1st.
When the long weekend starts to roll around, you start praying and say, please, God, don't let me go into any kind of heart issues, because what's going to happen?
Brzezinski has atrial fibrillation, a heart condition she says leads to a lot of pain and seizure-like conditions. In July, she had an incident that required her to have a pacemaker put in, but Mackenzie's ER was closed, so she suffered through 2 hours of pain before getting to Prince George.
I get taken to my son's because I don't know if I'm going to see him again. And the ambulance gets called and I got to go into Prince, a 2-hour trip in serious AFib, and not knowing if I'm going to make it there or back.
Her story, unfortunately, isn't unique, as Brzezinski's son had to drive his mother-in-law for a kidney stone that turned into an infection.
There was nothing I could do for her while I was taking her to Prince George. It was horrible to watch her suffer.
Many northern BC communities are reporting the same problem, as this past long weekend alone saw Burns Lake, Prince Rupert, Fort Nelson, Mackenzie, and more all facing service disruptions.
People I love are suffering because of it, and it's insane.
It's a problem Prince George Mackenzie MLA Kyle Giddens hopes to address as soon as possible.
We need actually to recruit people from the north to stay in the north, because that's ultimately what's going to be successful.
Giddens adds he also hopes to look at travel nurse programs and overall systemic change in health authorities to address ambulance and paramedic challenges. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
The government launched an industrial strategy focused on building domestic strength and trade diversification by supporting forestry companies to retool and reinvest in their markets. This recent move by the federal government has some local leaders wondering how it may help our region. Dave Branco has more.
America is in effect charging for access to its economy.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a $700 million loan package to support forestry companies. This includes $500 million in grants for market diversification and $50 million for retaining laid-off workers. A welcome move, says Mayor Simon Yu.
I particularly like the piece of the loan guarantee that which will encourage the local smaller mills perhaps can use a lot of our smaller deciduous trees.
Carney noted the U.S. is revamping its trading relationships, while a manufacturing company founder in Prince George thanked the government for the $1.2 billion in support. John Brink raises concern whether the funding would be adequate.
The answer is no. It is one step forward, but more can be done and should be done. If you look at that, all of these issues have to be shared across Canada.
Despite the over $1 billion in federal support, Brink says, above all, we need to rethink how we do business.
We are producing dimension lumber, which I say spaghetti manufacturing. We force it into the marketplace if they want it or not. And then we go all over the world to create new markets. And then we go with the message, we want you to build houses like we do. By 2x4, 2x6, 2x8, 2x10, 2x12, and no, they don't do that.
Mayor Simon Yu says forestry will always be the economic backbone of Prince George and would like to see more diversification in the local forestry market.
In business, when you have a 2-3 customer looking for your product, you chances are can get a better price and steady the supply a little bit better. So we need to really take advantage of this crisis.
In 2024, 66% of the Canadian softwood lumber production was exported, with nearly 90% going to the U.S. Dave Branco, CKPG News.
This week, a city committee launched a plan advocating for more provincial and federal support for more public bathrooms in downtown Prince George. Nick Dubé spoke to a downtown business owner to get his reaction.
The City of Prince George's Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs approved an advocacy plan Tuesday evening that aims to secure funding from the provincial and federal governments for improved public bathroom access. As downtown business owner Owen Foley says, there are many publicly funded services around downtown that allow restroom use, but they aren't available 24 hours a day, and changing this may be a better solution to the bathroom problem.
I think the best solution there would be for some of these organizations to extend their hours and offer their bathroom facilities available to anybody that needs them, and using the staff there that are ready to handle situations like overdoses and mental health crises.
Others, like City Councillor Garth Frizzell, say that while washrooms are necessary, there is no mandate at any level to get it done.
Well, it's not a decision. We need to have spaces where people can relieve their bodily functions. It's not a question of if, it's a question of what and how many. And in politics, it's also a question of funding for it, because it is something that absolutely needs to be done, but there's no mandate at the federal level, the provincial level, or the local level for it.
While the price tags for publicly accessible washrooms vary from $30,000 to $300,000, the committee will continue to work towards the right number until a decision is made. Nick Dubé, CKPG News.
Contract negotiations between Air Canada and the union representing their flight attendants continue, with CUPE announcing flight attendants had voted 99.7% in favor of a strike mandate. This means a strike notice could be issued as early as August 16th. But what does that mean for Prince George?
We don't actually operate Air Canada flights out of here. It's Air Canada Jazz. Jazz operate on behalf of Air Canada. So it's a different negotiation portion. They're not actually involved in this round of negotiations. So for us, that means there's very little impact on the ground here.
Even though Prince George flights are expected to see little to no impacts from potential strike action, Richie says travelers here could still be impacted if you're planning on any connecting flights. For example, an Air Canada flight out of Vancouver to Toronto. Should strike action occur, Richie says the Prince George Airport will do what it can to help potential travelers, but notes the best way to stay informed is by going to the airline itself, as the airport will be operating on whatever information Air Canada would have already provided.
If you have a book ticket, then check with the airline. If you're looking for options, then again, check with the airline first to make sure that there is availability or they can accommodate you elsewhere, should it come to the worst.
Next on CKPG News, stay with BC. The lowest gas price in Prince George is $1.39.9 per litre at Costco. The lowest gas price in BC is in Quesnel at $1.36.9 per litre. Ontario currently has the lowest gas prices in the country on average at $1.31 per litre. Meanwhile, BC has an average price of $1.59.1 per litre. Coming up on CKPG News, a new study from UBC suggests people with multiple sclerosis may show symptoms years before their official diagnosis. And a business park in Coldstream is making history by installing the province's largest commercial industrial solar panel roof.
Good evening, everybody. We are seeing a pretty nice weather pattern returning to a lot of the province, including our region, over the next few days. It should remain dry. We'll see some warmer temperatures, especially by the end of the week and into early next week. Some areas of the region still a bit on the cooler side, but nothing too dramatic, mostly sort of where we sit at this time in August. But other areas will certainly heat up as we get into our Sunday and Monday especially. Those 2 days will be really warm for a lot of areas as high pressure builds back in. So the instability that we dealt with the last couple of days, that trough is now pushing off to the east. You can see lots of active weather in here. And of course, we'll break down all of the details coming up a little later. The air quality was good actually today for us here in Prince George. It hasn't been the best the last few days. Today for us, great. And in Vanderhoof, Quesnel as well. Snapshot of the day. Thanks very much to Alan Lansing for this one. This is a beautiful shot of an osprey mid-flight. And Alan, coming across a new to him osprey nest and managed to wait a little bit longer and capture this beautiful picture. Thank you very much, Alan. Glad you were able to wait it out and capture that osprey in action. Snapshot at ckpg.com is where you go to email us your photos. I'll have your forecast details later in the show.
All right, thank you very much, Tanya. Tanya will have our weekend weather forecast coming up later on in our show. And the number of wildfires in the province has dropped because of the recent damp forecast. But the BC Wildfire Service says a warming trend is on the way, also as Tanya mentioned. There are just over 100 wildfires burning currently, with more than 160 declared out over the last 7 days. And a bulletin from the Wildfire Service says cooler, wetter weather will hold for today in the southeast. Hotter weather returns starting tomorrow and through the weekend, with possible dry lightning from the Chilcotin down into the southern interior and into the Boundary region. The regional district of Bulkley-Nechako has lifted the evacuation alert for the Sam Ross Creek fire near Fraser Lake, and they have also lifted the evacuation order for the Dorman Lake wildfire and replaced it with an alert. And the Sam Ross Creek fire is now considered under control. The City of Prince George is updating its 2018 wildfire plan with a new community wildfire resiliency plan aimed at reducing wildfire risk and improving community preparedness, response, and recovery. The updated plan will reflect local conditions, provincial best practices, fire smart principles, and input from residents and regional partners. Residents are encouraged to participate through community events in mid-August and online engagement until August 31st to provide feedback and identify priority areas. The draft CWRP will be presented to the City Council for review in the fall.
What we're hoping people will do is that if there is an area of the city that they're particularly concerned about, there's actually a place on the city's website where you can go and drop a pin on a map and identify that as an area of concern. There's also a place to learn more about the specific wildfire mitigation that we're hoping to do up at Shane Lake next year. And also just in general, add your information and thoughts about the city's plan and our general preparedness.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza tastes like never before. Order it at domino's.ca.
It was a big day Wednesday for the Vancouver Whitecaps as they have pulled off a pretty big signing. The Caps landed former Bayern Munich star Thomas Müller, and while a dollar figure was not announced, Müller has signed for the remainder of the 2025 season, and the agreement includes a designated player option for 2026.
And it was actually me to his agent asking what's going on and is there a possibility to speak, and then they picked up the phone and called me right away.
If you betting in him, look no further than this photo of Müller surrounded by the many trophies he's won in his career, which includes the World Cup with Germany. He is the superstar the Whitecaps have never had. Yes, Alphonso Davies became a superstar alongside Müller at Bayern Munich, but the Whitecaps' new number 13 has been good luck to every team he's played on. And by the way, Alphonso did help sell him on joining Vancouver.
Yeah, I talked to Alphonso. He told me a lot of good things about the city and about the Whitecaps. So I was a little bit pumped, but the decision was made before or in between. So I didn't need Alphonso's opinion, but it was important for me just to double check.
he is very careful about this decision, was very careful about this decision, because the first time he is relocating in his age. He has played in Bayern Munich since he is 12, so that's not happening very often that a player has to make the first time this decision with the age of 35.
At 35, Mueller certainly has slowed.
And you know, getting him up and around the area where we can score is very important. He has a lot of good qualities, also good against the ball in the pressing part of the game, and
they can expect that I'm always on 100%. Yeah, you can watch my skills in YouTube videos or in several TV shows, but they can expect that I'm full into it.
Coming up next on CKPG News, new research about MS. Let's take a look back at Thursday's top stories on CKPG News. A number of northern rural ERs have been affected by closures in recent weeks, including Mackenzie, where they have seen multiple days where their ER was closed. Plus, the federal government is setting up a safety net of loans, product development grants, and market diversification plans for Canada's softwood lumber industry. And the city's Intergovernmental Affairs Committee is looking to advocate the provincial and federal governments for capital funding for safe and clean access to washrooms. If you'd like to learn more about these stories or anything else we've talked about here tonight, you can head to our website, ckpgtoday.ca.
Good evening again, everyone. We've got some pretty good looking weather in our region and across BC the next few days. Looking back, it's been quite unsettled with that trough moving its way through the province. We had some rain, of course, and again, some spotty showers here and there throughout parts of the region today, but mix of sun and cloud now as we move forward, and it is going to be a pretty nice pattern in terms of our temperatures. So there's that system really pushing off to the east. We shouldn't see too much. There's a bit of instability up here towards the north coast going into Saturday, but I don't anticipate that reaching us. If it does, it might spread just a little bit more cloud cover to our region. Nothing in terms of, at least at this point, not a lot of precipitation, if any at all. So here are the highs across BC. We're up to 26 tomorrow, Fort St. John. Our Friday looks good here in Prince George. Nice and comfortable, 22, mix of sun and cloud for us. Warmer down through the southern interior, the Okanagan, south coast, and lots of areas experiencing some really nice weather over the next few days. So again, Prince Rupert Terrace, as you saw moments ago on the Futurecast, a bit unsettled as we get into the later part of the day and parts of your Saturday, but otherwise it should be a pretty good forecast everywhere else. Here's our broadcast region, 20 in Burns Lake. Cloud cover and a few sunny breaks are possible. 18 in Vanderhoof. Bit more cloud cover in Fort St. James. 19 the high up in Mackenzie, 23, and then down through McBride, Quesnel, we're seeing those temperatures anywhere from 22 to 25 degrees. Lots of sunshine, though, as we see this high pressure ridge building up. So this was what we were dealing with, all of this active weather across a lot of our province, but now that's sort of pushed off to the east. So we're left here with a really nice pattern, 23 in Vancouver. Edmonton will see stormy weather, Regina, Winnipeg as well, and then further east, still hanging on to those very hot temperatures in a lot of areas. 30 in Montreal, Toronto, of course, hotter when you factor in humidity. The air quality or a bit of smoky sky still in Montreal, kind of drifting in and out over the last couple of days for Montreal, Toronto as well. So some haze in the forecast, but otherwise a very nice pattern going into your weekend. Burns Lake, 5 tonight. Still quite chilly overnight tonight, 20 degrees tomorrow. You're looking at a cloudier start, giving way to some sunshine though in the afternoon, and then a bit more cloud cover returning for Saturday and Sunday. There'll still be sunny breaks though into early next week though. A lot of sunshine anticipated. 9 degrees tonight at Mackenzie. Thickening clouds up to 23 with mostly clouds tomorrow, and then we're looking at an increase in cloud on Saturday. A few showers on Sunday. Early next week looks nice and sunny. That's when we see high pressure really taking hold. McBride 8 overnight with clear skies tonight, up to 25 tomorrow. Cloudy, much warmer, and then Saturday, Sunday a bit more cloud cover, but there's your Monday, 27 27 degrees. Beautiful weather in store for early next week. Quesnel as well, 8 tonight, partly clouds, mostly cloudy sky tomorrow, 22. Hanging on to a temperature around 22, 23 for Saturday, and then bumping up to 27 on Sunday, Monday. Those will be the hottest days of the next few, and then a bit of a cool down next week, or getting back to our regular weather pattern in terms of those numbers. And that's the same for us. We'll see that temperature rise up to about 25 on Sunday. Lots of sunshine in store for us the next several days. It is going to be a pretty nice looking pattern.
When CKPG News continues, Victoria Mboko makes the final.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza tastes like never before. Order it at Domino's.ca.
She's a rising star, a fighter, and now a champion. Victoria Mboko did it again on Thursday night, rallying back through the pain of a wrist injury to defeat four-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka in the National Bank Open final, capping a fairy tale run that fans across Canada won't soon forget.
One final warm-up before the last push. The 18-year-old has already gone further than anyone expected, with a winning streak that's captivated Canadians, especially younger tennis players.
She's actually a person I look up to, someone that inspires me a lot.
The Toronto tennis prodigy went from relative unknown to crowd favorite and is offering a masterclass in perseverance.
I think she actually has a good chance of winning. It's going to be hard and it's going to be long, but she has a chance of winning.
Vicky Mboko got here after pulling off upset after upset, becoming the first Canadian woman to defeat 3 former Grand Slam singles champions in a single WTA event in modern history. She beat former Wimbledon champ Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan. Mboko got off to a rocky start, including this stumble, but she clinched a nail-biting win.
You can do anything you aspire to do, and you know, the sky is always the limit, and I think that's just how I like to go about things.
She's the only Canadian to advance past the 3rd round in singles at this year's Canadian Open.
We're proud of the way she carries herself and obviously her performance and her tennis on the court. So yeah, it's great to see, and I think it's great for Canadian tennis.
We start with Tampa Bay visiting Los Angeles.
Christopher Morel will be the first batter.
See so many guys that average high 90s, and Christopher Morel gets into one, and the Rays take the lead. Christopher Morel had been 0 for 6 with a strikeout every time up in this series.
Chris Morrell's 7th inning long ball put the Rays ahead to stay as they took this one 5-4. Next up, we have the Mets hosting the Guardians.
Now the 1-1. Swung and hammered deep left field. This ball gone! Angel Martinez with his 10th home run. 3-0 Cleveland. A laser to left. And Martinez continues to thrive when facing left-handed pitching.
Angel Martinez's 2-run shot provided the winning run as Cleveland beat New York 4-1. And closing with Philadelphia and Baltimore to take on the Orioles.
Kobe Mayo on the next pitch. A long fly ball to left field, and Mayo smashes a 3-run home run. He absolutely leaned on it.
Orioles hadn't scored in 18 innings in this series, but that all changed real quick here in the 4th. How about a 4 spot already?
Colby Mayo's 3-run homer was the difference as Baltimore won 5-4 on tonight's CKP3.
When CKPG News continues, the province's largest solar panel. And if there's any solar panels in the Prince George area, the upcoming forecast will be pretty good for them. 9 degrees tonight, 30% chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm this evening. Expecting clouds through this forecast, even though we're expecting mix of sun and cloud for most of the next few days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday looking to be mostly cloudy, but the chance of some more breakthroughs of sun later in the day. 22 degrees tomorrow, 23 on Saturday. A gradual warm up as we get to Sunday, seeing the peak of an upper low on Sunday, getting to a high of 25 degrees before we start to see that ridge break down on Monday, leading to more average temperatures for this time of year. 23 degrees is our average, so temperatures a bit above average for Sunday, Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday looks to be pretty good so far. Temperatures getting down into the single digits for Monday, Tuesday nights, so that's surely a sign that fall is on its way, even though we're still in the midst of summer. Wednesday, 21 degrees. Other than that, looking like a pretty nice dry weather forecast after we had some rain the past couple days, but overall looking to be a pretty nice weather forecast as we head into the weekend. All right, that's all the time we have tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight, your last look is the city from the Cutbanks. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.